Hello and welcome back to Galactic Reviews. And just recently, the season 2 of Marvel's What If has come out, and I just watched it. I recently just watched it. This has been something that's kind of flown under the radar as I've talked to Andrew about this, and he didn't even know it was out. I know Andrew didn't really know about it, and if Andrew didn't know about it, I'm assuming Zach didn't either, which has been either Disney has flown this under the radar or deliberately, or fans weren't really wanting to watch it, and it could be a mix of both. Who knows? But season 2 has come out. There are, ironically enough, there is one good episode, but the rest of them are not that good. The one good episode I have to talk about is the what if Yondu had given Peter Quill to Ego, whereas it is previously established in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that Yondu does not give Peter over to Ego. In this one, he does. And it's a very good, interesting story. I do have problems with it. Wendy Lawson, I guess this universe is Captain Marvel, does appear. And just reminds you of that movie a little bit. So that does get annoying. But overall, good. It's a good what if. If it wasn't for that little bit, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's like top tier what ifs, but I don't think it's a top tier episode of a show, but I do think it's good. There are some other ones that are, I would say, medium grade. Medium grade, at least for this show, because it hasn't really had a whole bunch of good ones. There are a couple that have good concepts. They're just bad in implementation, character usage, and knowing where exactly and how this character would react. One of them is what if Nebula joins the Nova Corps? It's the first episode. It's sort of a detective noir and science fiction sort of combo episode, which could have been good and could have been well implemented. However, I don't think Nova is the right choice for that character, just because of her character development so far, as she would have been at this point very much wanting to follow Thanos's will and whatever he want to do. And so yeah, even though he's dead, she would want to get revenge. So I don't know why exactly. I don't think she's the best character for that choice. I think it would have worked better if Rocket was chosen, and it was like a what if Rocket was found by the Nova Corps. I think that would have worked out way better. I think the only reason why they chose Nebula, well, one of the reasons I think they chose, there's a couple reasons why I think they might have chosen Nebula, but one of the definite ones was probably one of the more probable ones is because she's a cyborg, easier to use her in the plots, kind of make it easier for them in writing. And I think that might be the reason they chose. Another problem I do have is Nova Prime is the twist villain at the end of the thing, and I don't think that was necessary. I don't think that was written well. It could have been done well, and kind of would have maybe made some sense, but I don't think it was written well, and it sort of came out of the blue. The other episode that was kind of like maybe it could have been good, but the way it was implemented wasn't that great, was the one where Iron Man found the Game Master, and it's essentially Tony Stark landing on Sakaar after he threw the missile up into the wormhole, and he never comes back down to Earth. The concept is there. I just don't think it was well implemented, like the previous one I mentioned with Nebula, the detective noir one I mentioned with Nebula. I just don't think it was well implemented. I don't mind Tony Stark. I don't mind Gamora. I find Korg and Valkyrie, and I believe he's called the Game Master. I find all three of those characters annoying. Ironically, all those three of those characters are from Thor Ragnarok. I can't stand those characters in large doses, and I think in the Ragnarok movie they worked because you didn't get them in large doses. In this one, you get them for a big chunk of the movie and a big chunk of the what ifs, especially Korg, and I'm really just finding them more annoying than funny. There are some really bad ones. One of them is really unnecessary, which is the one about Peggy or Captain Carter, which is essentially just her version of the Winter Soldier movie. Yeah, I don't really care for it. I don't care. I don't think it was necessary. I think we could have gotten another what if. I think we could have gotten another what if of another character. These are supposed to be one-offs. Just let them go. These are really just supposed to be one-offs. I don't really think they should do continuations. I think they should just be one-offs. Apparently the characters become popular, or they're trying to make the character popular. I don't know which one it is as of yet, because I'm not at this point. I don't think I'm in the know for that. I'm not in the know for that. I don't know whether or not this character is popular or not, but I would assume she's not as Captain Carter. I don't think Captain Carter is popular. I think Peggy Carter is somewhat popular with people. I just don't think Captain Carter is. One that was possibly good was there had some thoughts about it that could have been great, was the what if Avengers assembled in 1602? And in this one, they made it completely about Peggy Carter instead of being about that universe. So it's a good concept. I think that one actually might be from the comics, but in this one, they just said, screw it. We're going to make it about this character because who cares? We need something that'll get us to the finale and kind of lead us there. So yeah, that was that was annoying. That was an annoying one where it was actually could have been a decent what if, but instead they made it all about this character from another universe that was thrown into this universe in order to fix the universe. It could have worked out better, and instead it did not. So I don't really like that part that much. I don't really like that about this one, about that episode. Let's see. There's the Kahori. Kahorny, I don't know, remember her name. I think it's Kahorny, something like that. Corn chips, I don't know. Native American lady, for whatever reason, this one's just thrown in there. Has nothing really to do with the Marvel characters except in the opening, where it has to do with Odin and Ragnarok. And they're saying if that caused this is what would, if Ragnarok happened way earlier, this is what would have happened. And it has something to do with the Space Stone, a whole bunch of Native Americans getting powers because of it, and being able to fend off against the Europeans coming over to the country to sort of colonize it. What they don't address is that all the Native Americans were at war with each other, which is why the conquistadors, when they came over, a whole bunch of the Native American tribes decided, go fight this one big tribe that was basically controlling everybody and enslaving all the other tribes. And they were like, yeah, we'd rather take our chances with them than with you. So as far as like a history lesson goes, it makes more sense on that. That kind of is upsetting. To put it bluntly, it is essentially just their woke form of putting something in and saying, oh yeah, well, it's what we want to do. Because it just seems random out of the blue and doesn't make any sense. And the only reason why they did this was so that way they could create this character. This character could be from the comics. She could not be. I have no idea. I just don't like the implement. I don't like the way they wrote this character. I don't like the way that any of this was written. That was probably the most egregious episode of the season. And the second most egregious episode of the season was the one with, I think it's What If Strange Supreme intervened. It's essentially thing that ties everything all together with the season, kind of like it did last season. And this is with the Strange Supreme picking up Peggy Carter and Kahorny, having them fight it out for whatever reason, and then him trying to save his universe. The problem is Strange Supreme had already gone down this road previously. It was already somewhat established that season 1, he found out that he knew that he was the reason for why his universe disappeared and died and crumbled. It's one of those things where they decide not to look at the character and how they've been, like, all the things they've gone through, and just decided, you know what, use this character. Just sounds like they got the cliff notes of season 1 and just decided to use them in season 2. Because if I'm not mistaken, the character had undergone this sort of path of knowing that he was the mistake for why his universe crumbled, and he wanted to prevent that for other universes. Hence why the Watcher brought him in to let him help, let him kind of help him watch. And since he couldn't intervene, he could. So it would have worked out. Instead, you got this whole him reverberating back into what he was like when his universe crumbled, like right before when his universe was crumbling, and him wanting to get it him wanting to get it back, even though it's like ruining a whole bunch of other universes. And it's not something that was well done. And then they made Peggy Carter one of the strongest heroes by giving her like Infinity Stones, Hela's helmet, all kinds of girl. Basically, it was two women against this one dude, and the one dude apparently was able to almost defeat him. So the guy was strong, but the way they did these characters, it's just, it was not good. It was not pretty, and it was not fun, and it was not done with the same essence of the characters that they had previously established, and that was probably the most annoying part. But yeah, given that overall, I think I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10. Without that Star-Lord episode for the season overall, I think it would probably be a 3 or a 2.5. But with that one Star-Lord episode, I think it brings it up to a 4, because it's a good one. It's not great, but it's a good one. It's a good What If episode. I also do think this What If season has gone down in the budget department, because the background and the character designs are very different, vastly different, or at least they feel like they're written or they're drawn in completely different formats, and it just feels off. So I don't remember if I don't believe it was this bad in the first one. I knew there was, in the first season, I knew there was something that wasn't great, but I don't believe it was ever this bad. I'm thinking maybe they're losing money, and I think this might be their last season, but I could be wrong. There could be a season 3 coming up, but I could be wrong. Anyway, that's my thoughts on season 2. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And if you have pros and cons about episodes I didn't even mention, leave them down in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time on Galactic Reviews.